Swoosh Life Podcast. Season 3.
What's up, everybody? We're back. It's episode 53 of the Swoosh Life Podcast. I got a new one every time. And if you're watching on YouTube, we got a little Swoosh Life flag. Thank you. Shout out Ryan Mullen behind me. And we're back, and we're going to get right into it. Special guest today. Crazy day in the world of golf. We'll talk about it. But let's go right into it. Right, boys? No sense of chit-chatting. Haven't seen you in 2 weeks, but no sense of chit-chatting. Hair's gotten longer, whatever. But we've got an amazing guest today. Special guest, I should say. He's actually asked us to come on the podcast, which is kind of like a first. But we actually, want him on the podcast anyways, too. So, all right, a very skilled artist doing amazing custom shoes. You've probably seen him on Instagram. Does stuff for people like Ray Allen, maybe Bo Jackson, a little Brooks Koepka, and Rory Mcilroy, too. So, the king of customs, Mr. Roly Padron, a.k.a. NOMAD Customs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that intro. Love it.
The famous Gumby intro is legendary. Yeah. Just like you, my friend, you are amazing. We want to get into 3-2-1. We want to get rolling, but huge news. Live Golf merging with the PGA selling out. Jay Monahan selling the players out. Let's go around the horn. We'll start with Gumby.
All right. So I've had strong thoughts on this throughout the thing. I just wanted golf to be in a better place because we've seen it with the majors, how good they could be. Now, this is actually quite interesting because to me, it's not them merging with Live. It's them merging with FIP, right? Or PIF or whatever it is. The Saudi
Public Investment Fund. Yep, PIF.
And so slightly, to me, thinks that Live may be slightly done or there will be something different, a new iteration. So I don't know. But it's quite interesting. There's not much details, but it's a big deal when Golf Channel doesn't take a commercial break. And they didn't take a commercial break for like 6.5 hours today. So I'm just intrigued to see what it feels like. I feel bad for some of these players that stuck their neck out. Jay Monahan, I don't even want to say his name anymore on this podcast because I just think he's up there with like Rob Manfred now. All the commissioners of the world are just not good people, it feels like. So, I mean, we could put him up with Bettman good there, Keith. Your takes.
There's a reason why Bettman gets booed when the Stanley Cup comes on the ice. He needs to go too. He needs to retire. But I feel bad for Rory for all this. And I am a Rory fan a little bit. I think he's got his ups and downs, but this is the first time I actually feel bad for him. For maybe the lack of his play had a lot to do with this. Did he know about it? He's saying he didn't know about it, and this was out of the blue, out of nowhere. But he's kind of like turned the tables a little the last couple of weeks or a couple of months since like the Masters about all this. I know Tiger chimed in a little bit back at the Hero Challenge back in December about if Greg goes, then we can have some negotiations, some talks. So we're never going to get the answer. It might come out in the next couple of weeks. But I've said this all along. Give me the 4 majors. Give me the best guys at the 4 majors, and that's what I want to see in golf. 4 rounds, 4 majors. That's what I want to see. I want the best guys in the world. Matt, what do you think?
Man, you touched on a lot of stuff that I think, unfortunately, I don't. The thing is, okay, in terms of answers, I think we're actually not going to get any answers. So it's hard for me to have an opinion because it's still so new. Evidently, we're going to roll on with 23 the way it is. 24 will be kind of a merger year. They'll figure out a calendar, yada, 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 right? I think just in the same way that Liv was holding back on some stuff because they didn't want contract info coming out, I don't think the PGA wanted any money details coming out. Because the other thing is about all these pro sports is they're all run as charities, right? They're all
non-for-profit.
They're all not-for-profit. They're all 501(c)s, but they all have franchises. So you talk about Gary Bettman, right? Gary Bettman for the game of hockey, awful. For the business of hockey, he's been fantastic. He's managed to get like 6 expansion teams under his watch, right? Like that's his goal is to grow it, right? And then, right, for your point on the players, right? Like, man, if you're Will Zalatoris and you have a broken back and you turn down 130 because Jay was telling you that this is a no-no and this guy's no good, and now you just sold the tour off, and the players nominate this guy to run it, and even if they're 90-10, as the reports are that they want the guy out, he just signed the deal. Like, what are y'all going to do? Go to Corn Ferry? like I don't know. Funded by PGA?
Well, not to interrupt Matt either, but where's someone like LPGA in this? That's still under PGA. Like, are they getting more money? Like it's this is the, I know they said men's golf, I think in the initial release, like the entity of men's golf, but come on, like if this is golf, this is golf. You know what I mean? So
and my last thought on it, and Keith, you teed me up perfectly here. Thank you so much. I think the majors are in trouble. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think will come out of this in the long run, right? So long run, I knew these guys were going to merge at some point. Liv's got too much money. The question is, the franchise model, right? Like, how do you grow the 12 teams? How do you grow it? Right now, it sounds like in 24, the PGA will not schedule anything on their 12 dates. That's kind of the initial thing I heard. I don't know if that's true or anything like that. But think about this, right? If they took all that money, they're now private. If they got more money than anybody else in the world, who cares about the money you win for the US Open? Who cares about the money you win for the PGA Championship? They're going to put their majors on pay-per-view and they're going to pick their stuff. I think the USGA, the PGA of America, I think Augusta National, I think the Royal RNA, they're going to have to come to terms that they might no longer be the four big majors. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but that's my
I don't think you can touch them.
That was a little crazy.
I think.
Wait a minute.
I think PGA Championship can go away, so like a new one. But I don't think you have a U.S. Open and a British Open. That there's history there, and same thing with the Masters. So,
but last thing I'm gonna say on this, right? The merger is so shocking because it seemed like the PGA had the upper hand. These guys are on CW. They're drawing like a 1.9. Like nobody's watching. It's only 12 events. You could have let them go silently into the night. And some people would have watched, the hardcores would have watched, but they were not going to grow and ever be. Like, think about it. Even if they have 12 events, you have 40 other weekends throughout the year that the PGA Tour would be the main thing on TV, on major network TV, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? You had the upper hand. This is why I say that the money is being hidden, because unless you couldn't afford to go to war with Liv for the rest of this, right? Now take it a step further, right? Now, Liv wants to make their money. Why would Liv and PGA let their players, their assets, I hate to use that term because it's a marketing term, why would they let their assets go play at Augusta so that CBS and Augusta could make money?
Yeah, I just don't.
It's all about the money.
I know where you're coming from.
The timing of Brooks winning the major, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I think Brooks winning that major is like looms even larger now on everything. And I just want to get Roly's take a little bit here coming up, but this is Dunder Mifflin buying Michael Scott Paper Company. I've seen the memes all over today when they are about to go bankrupt, right? Like, why? Just let them go, but here we are. So how the turntables turn.
Roly, what are your thoughts? Because I'm just rambling. I'm just putting out thoughts out there.
You work with.
I love it, Matt.
You work on both
that's
sides, right?
that's been like honestly like one of the hardest things, right? Working so closely with the PGA for so long, specifically the players, right? During all of this, all of the Live thing from the beginning, right? It's just it feels like a divorce, right? Where you have to pick, the players specifically, and I've spoken to a few of them and they're like, you know what, it's all good. Like there's nothing you can do about that. Right. It's just been hard, man. It's just been hard. And who knows where it's going to go. But, to your point, Gumby, I just want the best, right? The best golf. Right. And the majors, it's just, it wouldn't be the same if the Live guys weren't there.
Yeah.
Right?
And we've seen it. We've seen it. The past two majors have been fun to watch, good to watch. You've seen some Live guys up there battling. We've had one winner and one, second place at the Masters. And so, it's just it's better for the game of golf in the long run if things are united and we're not a divorce, right? Better if the kids are happy, right?
Yep.
We understand that.
Got a
But
co-parent.
but it just feels so weird. And when like all the texts were coming into me, and my friend from work sent it to me. And like when someone does that, when I get it from like work, I swear, especially when it's CNBC, I just was like looking for like MSCNBC, like where it's not like a real thing, like it was like a fake article. And then it and it was going off everywhere, and it wasn't fake. And I was like,
right.
Oh goddamn! Like what is happening? So
right.
I couldn't believe it, because I put my phone away during the day. I mean, I don't need that distraction, but I started getting texts, and I'm like, you guys are full of, I don't know if I can curse here, but
yeah.
Oh no, you're good.
Like
absolutely.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm sure most people couldn't believe it.
Did anyone else see the video of Justin Thomas's phone, like just flying, like the notifications were coming in so fast?
I saw the picture.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely. And the last thing I'll say is that look, I love Ben on the tour van with Liv. I love Brooks. We love our Nike guys that Liv. I'm still a Matt Wolf fan. Like, I think it is better when we get everybody together, because I'll say that the TPC Sawgrass, the Players Championship this year, it did not feel the same to me. No. Scotty won. I was happy for Scotty.
It, right?
Yeah, Scotty won it, but I'm just like, Cam Smith ain't there. Brooks ain't there. Like, this is no longer
the same.
Not the fifth major anymore.
It's not.
Exactly. So with that,
do we get a team Nike for Live Golf? Does Brooks, is that there's been these rumors? I mean, $2 billion for a team. Let's just squash that. Nike ain't doing that, okay, people? Like, I know Tee Up Picks with Chris. He put one out today. He mentioned me in it. Like, appreciate you, Tee Up. But $2 billion for a team is not happening. Pay my man Tiger first before any of that bullshit happens, okay? Like, let's go. So, just squashing that. But if there is a team Nike, then I will watch Live. That's what I'm saying.
What do you think is going through T-Dub's head right now, though, too? That's
I think
thing.
He's just figuring out when he's going to retire. He can apply for commissioner. Like, that's really
maybe that's the deal. Maybe when he said, "Hey, there's a way out of this if Greg's out of the way." Yeah, give me the Billy. Let me run. Do you think Tiger really wants to run this circus? No. Do you think he really wants to?
He doesn't need to.
No, he doesn't. Exactly. And I don't think he wants to be.
I mean, he could be behind the scenes, right? But
yeah.
But he is a golf nut, like, and so I think like if someone like Jack and Arnie started the tour and all that stuff, that's who he most aligns to. That's who he looked up to and all that stuff throughout his whole career. And so if that is where he feels like he needs to go with his history and making sure that it is secure for all the other players coming up and looking up to him now, then I could see it. It's the same reason why he is still in the shadows of every Ryder Cup, right? He's the analytics guy now. Like, he's not a captain or anything, but he's part of it. Like, that's just who he is. And so I could see it. I just don't think it's time. Yeah.
It was nice to see Charlie win. Charlie got a win this weekend, and Tiger in the cart. Somebody snapped a picture. Tiger in the cart wearing some shoes. I think they were Metcons. Nice to see him in some Nikes with the crutches.
People were trying to say that they were the UA ones. I was like, you are all nuts. So I'm on a
he's just a FootJoys and UAs now. Like
Ryan asked us in our group chat. Ryan asked us, like, why do people say that? Because people are dumb. That's why. People are just I don't know.
That's why you need the Swoosh Life Podcast, and this is why you need incredible guests like Nomad here. 3, 2, 1. Let's kick it off. You know what? Live or no live. Who are your 3 favorite golfers to watch? Who's must-see TV for you?
Man, I mean, right now, or all time?
Ooh, I'm gonna go all time. I always like to do all time.
You can omit Tiger.
Give us
both.
Know
that Tiger is.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the only reason I ever picked up a club was because of Tiger, right? So many people.
Yep.
So he's like an obvious like favorite of mine. Ironically, man, during the same time that I fell in love with Tiger and his game and fist pumps and all that stuff, man, I've always loved Ernie Els, right? Ernie Els, that swing, Big Easy. He's been one of my favorites forever. And I'm talking about like the guys that I started watching the game that I loved, Phil Mickelson's the other one. I mean, if Tiger doesn't exist, how many majors does Phil have, right? The short game is just ridiculous.
Double digits, easy.
I mean, come on. So, I mean, from those guys, from that time, those are the guys that I could not watch them on TV. I couldn't, it was so impressive every time you watch them play.
And I definitely went all time because I didn't want it to make it sound like I'm asking you to name your 3 favorite clients because I know you work with a lot of players, right?
You know me.
Yeah, you can't play favorites. You can't play favorites, but you can play favorites in 2. And 2 is, what are your 2 favorite Nike golf shoes? Now, I've seen you do a lot of personally for me, I love when you touch a Tour Premier. Like I was just showing my brother your feed just now before this, right? And like, man, when you touch a Tour Premier, that is just magic. It makes us even sadder because we all want that shoe back. We all want that shoe to exist in some form. What are your 2 favorites? Maybe wear and work on. Maybe if you want to give us one of each.
I have to interject real quick here, but Roly actually followed me back on Instagram today, so thank you for that. And I looked through our messages, and I messaged about the Masters Tour Premier in 2020 about how much it was and everything, and there was actually one my size. But your work is just phenomenal. So it was like just one of those things where like definitely love the Tour Premier and everything. So your 2 favorite shoes that you wear or work on, whatever they might be different.
So I feel like this is kind of a loaded question because there's so many here. Like
you could give us both versions. You could give us
Well, my favorite shoe all time, believe it or not, is the Tour Premier. Yeah, like to play in. But there's different type of golf, right? There's hangout golf and then there's performance golf, right? So the T-Dub 13 is performance golf, right? So is the Tour Premier, but the AJ1, the on and off, shoe is so good. How could you not wear it, right? Especially if you're a Jordan fan. Like, the other one is the trainer, the Jordan trainer, the ST trainer. Is that
Trainer ST? Yeah, they did. I think it was like it was elephant print, or it was elephant print.
Yeah, with just a little toe cap too.
Yep, but
and they did the soft neoprene.
The T-Dub because the front, the toe area was mesh, right? It was kind of like a softer material, so it wasn't that great when it was wet, but it was just so comfortable because the sole was kind of that TW sole, right? The TW 13 sole.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the other one that I love to wear is the 12. The Jordan 12. Yeah. It's solid, it's stable, It's got the spikes.
I wore mine for the first time the other day, and I was really impressed with it. I didn't get it last year, I got it this year, and very happy with it.
My buddy Ronnie, he's like Gumby's friend that trolls him with Under Armour. Like my buddy Ronnie, always wearing Adidas, always wearing something else. He finally got the 12s last year, and he all of a sudden has 4 pairs of them. Yeah. And the 12 was the golf shoe of the year to me. Yeah, really, really good. And I know Keith, you've got your pair.
Keith's first pair of Jordan.
Yeah, I still got to test them out. My first, no, I have not. I'm waiting for the nice weather.
It's nice. It's dry.
It wears well
up here.
It's not dry here.
I don't know. The wildfires might stink it up now.
Dude, the wildfires are. We can just tangent this. We have to stay inside the next 2 days because it's so bad air quality up here.
Bad.
Yeah.
Oh, even down in Chicago.
We're the worst.
We can see the red moon
right now.
Yeah, we can see the red moon all the way down Chicago. All right. So last one of 3, 2, 1. What is your favorite shoe of all time? Not a golf shoe. Dang. Favorite shoe of all time.
Man,
do you remember this is a Nike-based podcast?
I can't even just narrow it down to one, man. My favorite shoe growing up was the Diamond Turf, Dion's original shoe.
That's a great shoe.
That for me was that was the greatest shoe ever. And then the Jordan 3 Black Cement. Those are my 2 top. I know you said one.
We'll do 1A. I love that.
We'll take it. Cousteau's favorite is Jordan 3 as well. So that was
he wears his too. So
and I think Jordan. We had Jordan Rogers on last episode, and he's a big fan of that diamond turf as well. Do you think it's coming back now with Dion possibly
sure.
back in in Nike?
No doubt.
Yeah,
we'll get
awesome.
Colorado colorways. We'll get the OG. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. When they retroed him the last few years, even when they did like the Diamond Turf 3, 4, the 4 with the Flames, and the Cowboys when he was there, that was a sick one too. Diamond Turf, that's my first signature shoe I ever got from a Nike athlete. But they didn't hype it up because they didn't have the rights to Dion. So hopefully they can play nice now.
My first, I always tell this story, is my first $100 shoe that my mom bought me without telling my dad. Right. She bought it at Birdine's, and it was the Agassi, the Challenger, the Air Challenger. The what was it? The Hot Lava.
Yeah,
the Hot Lava, baby. Yep,
man, that's a gorgeous shoe.
Man,
good. One of Tinker's finest, I think.
Yep.
So, oh, that's awesome. Okay, so this is a bonus question, but this is appeals to the designer side of me. What's your favorite shoe to customize? Like, what is the?
Come on, man! Come on, Gumby. You know how many times I get asked that question?
I know, but we're doing this whole thing.
First time you got asked here.
Those are my kids. Those are my kids. I got. You know what?
What's the easiest?
No, just to work on. Just to work on.
Right
not
now?
Which one is like your favorite that you've ever done.
Yeah, just to work on the base.
To work on the AJ1 Low, the Tour Premier. It's just it's got a lot of flat surfaces. Keeps it simple. Like, I love a simple design. I think it just less is more for me. But then again, if the client wants it to look a certain way, then that's their style, and I get it. But the Tour Premier,
I'm not
AJ1.
I wasn't asking you about your babies. I'm not gonna make you pick.
Every time I say which one it is, then I get people saying, "What? You didn't love mine? Like, what was wrong with mine? Nothing was wrong. It's just I just can't answer that.
I can't even pick a favorite.
The base was the best one to do, because I just figured you probably have a process of, like, when you start everything. Like, I'm an all white shoe guy, so I always look at the shoes and I'm like, how could I do that? But then, especially the designer in me, I want to like do something cool. But then I'm always like, when else would I wear this? Like, I always want a Masters pair because I just love the Masters.
Yeah.
But then it is April in Syracuse, New York is a mud fest, and I'll never get to wear them. You know what I mean? Like, around the Masters. So then I think about, like, maybe a 4th of July colorway, which wouldn't go bad. Like, you could go wear that all summer, But I never can figure out. I'm a big Syracuse fan. I can never just figure out which ones I would want, and I'm not rich enough to buy all 3 to 4. So
which, by the way,
that's all.
The most popular colorways, believe it or not, are a red, white, and blue, right? But everyone asks me for elephant print. Like, elephant print is it, right? And I love doing elephant print. But I think the red, white, and blue theme, like the 4th of July theme, you can wear it all year pretty much.
Yeah, you did one in the 3s with the red, white, and blue, the inside and whatnot. That I think they just came out like stunningly and everything. So it was a couple of years ago, I believe. So
yeah, those were for Varner, actually, Harold Varner.
Yeah.
Before Keith asks you some golf related questions, I do have to ask one question about the Bo Jackson shoe. So for those of you that are not on Instagram, maybe didn't see the story, there was a Bo Jackson shoe done in 2019. It was a Tour Premier, black toe, black heel. The strap across the middle was silver. I'm a big Chicago White Sox fan. Was that a Chicago White Sox color or a Raiders color? That's what I just want to clear it up with my buddies, because I took that at Medina, and when Brooks walks by and then Bo Jackson, who he's playing with, walks by, I just about I almost spun and drilled into the ground. It was crazy.
That was definitely a Raiders colorway. Sorry, man. Sorry. Yeah. What's funny about that is I had no idea what Brooks' shoe was going to look like. And it was also a Raiders theme, right? And then after I did it and send him his shoes, it was just funny. I got hit up by a bunch of Nike people, and they were like, "How did you know that Brooks was going to wear that?" I said, "I didn't. I mean, it's Bo Jackson, right? Like, it's either Royals or Raiders
or Chicago White Sox.
White Sox too. Yeah, but most people don't really.
Not as well known.
Those are the two popular ones, right?
I'll admit it. I know.
Yeah, sorry, Matt. Sorry.
It was broken hip boat, but go ahead, Keith.
I have done some White Sox pairs for him, though, by the way. Ooh. There's a lot of stuff I don't quote. It's just, it's a lot. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, let's keep the swoosh talk going. Nomad Customs. Let's, how did you fall in love with Nike? I always want to know that story.
Well, I feel like I lived in the Nike shoe era, right? Where all the best athletes, in my opinion, all wore Nike. And it was just something about the product itself. It was just, it always stood apart from any other brand. You know, the technology, the air, you know, the air bubbles. I mean, it was constantly like just new, cool. Every year was a different model, a new colorway. And of course, MJ. I mean, if MJ wore Nike, everyone wanted to be like Mike.
Right. Yep.
mean, Agassi, Ken Griffey, the list goes on forever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
How could Bo? Awesome. So many. Yeah. That was it, man.
Well, let's get into the golf game a little bit. How did you get into golf, and how's that swing looking?
I actually went to the range today, and I hadn't.
I need to do that
club for a few weeks, and I mean, I fell in love with golf in '97. You know, it was Tiger.
Right with you.
Yeah, my son was born in '97, so I had to get serious. I was only like 19, 20 years old. Yeah, I was 20 years old, and I said, I got to pick up something, right? A sport. I always played baseball. So I played a little bit of softball during that time, but you know, Tiger's influence was just too much. And then as soon as you actually hit that one shot, you're hooked, right? Like 2 months after I picked up the game, I made a hole in one at a par 3 course, right?
Damn.
It was 120 yards, and I didn't even see it go in. But that was it. Like, yeah. I think the next day I went to Sports Authority and bought me a set of, because I was using my brother-in-law's old ass, like, you know, Kings or whatever, but they were like super old. And I think I bought some Wilson. I bought some Wilsons at Sports Authority, and that was it.
Sports Authority showing your age right there, Roly.
Oh, whatever, man. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm so old. It was MC Sporting
I remember going to the mall, and it was 2-story Sports Authority, and I was like, this is heaven. Like, there wasn't those things around, you know. Dick's wasn't up in my neck of the woods at that time, you know. So it's just, I remember that those were the days.
Yep. And then, of course, you got to wear Nikes. You got to wear Nikes.
Exactly. How was the transition? I'm a hockey player, and like hockey and golf kind of go together. How was the transition between baseball and then swinging the golf club? Was it tough because you're swinging up higher, but now you're swinging down lower and hitting a ball that's stationary?
Very tough. I remember missing the ball a lot, you know, when I first started. But the one thing that is I guess it's the hand-eye coordination, right? Yeah. Once you swing the golf club enough, you find it. You find the ball.
Right.
Now it's just working on your swing so you're not swinging like a baseball swing. Right. And I mean, golf is just amazing, man. Like, you're on grass, right? So I can kind of like, I feel the comparisons to being on grass and being accurate. You know, it's just all those things that golf brings out of you, man. Can't blame anyone. It's the most humbling game that there is. It's just, It was awesome, man. I loved it.
I hear you're down to a 4 now, Roly. Is that still true? You're down to a 4 handicap?
It went up to a 5-6.
All right.
Oh,
so I'm up to 11, so I feel you.
There you go.
I'm up to 11, so it's been a hard spring. You plan a lot of like events and everything down there. Do you meet like a lot of clients, or is it just more that like everyone tends to know like your stuff and want you to come out and maybe do something for charity, or is it just kind of like you like getting out and playing and those type of things?
Yeah, I mean, usually it is someone reaching out because they know, you know, what I do. Mm-hmm. But you know, what you mentioned was like, you know, helping charities, and like Ray Allen, he was the one who really, I feel like got me the head start, right? Yeah. He was the one who trusted me really to do this custom thing, because I don't know if most people know this, but like before 2012, there were no custom golf shoes, right? So again, he really he trusted me like to do work on his shoes, but there's a bunch of events that I do play for charity, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I meet a lot of good, cool people down here.
That is cool that you kind of brought up, like, you know, kind of like what kicked it off or what started it. But I wanted to go back a little bit more because we're all fathers of young children. You know, Gumby, Keith just had his second. I've got two. Gumby just had his first. When did you realize you had a talent for art? And then, you know, was it like nurtured, and, you know, how did it come about? Like, when did you realize, like, damn, I'm good at this shit? And then when did you realize I could do this on golf shoes? So the two-part question there.
Two-part question. I've always been in school. The only thing that I really cared about was sports, PE, art, and then shoes. I've always been into shoes, right? And that the term sneakerhead gets thrown around a lot, right? But I really did love sneakers because of the athletes that wore them. I looked up to the athletes, right? And again, the only class that I cared about was art in school and PE. So I knew that I was good at art. I mean, that was something that I knew from very young. And then the custom thing. What did you ask again, Matt?
Like, how did you realize, like, all of a sudden, like, man, like, there's nobody doing this in the golf space, or like, you know, and yeah. I'm gonna assume, like, there's nothing in your life that's stock anymore, right? Like, you just customize everything, but like, yeah, when did you make that jump? Like,
I don't have
I
time
can do this
really
on golf shoes
for that. Yeah, like the golf thing, the golf custom really came from the T-Dub 13, which the idea came to me to bring the Cement 3 to that design on a T-Dub, right? Mm-hmm. So when I did it, every golf course that I went to, if you knew about shoes, which was usually like the guys who clean your carts, the younger guys, they were like, where the hell did you get those, right? And it happened so much that I said, well, why not do it on golf shoes? Why not customize your own golf, at least my golf shoes, right? And I would get the same reaction everywhere I went. It was like, this is amazing. Where did you get those? Like, I made them. They were like, what do you mean you made them? Like, what do you mean you made those, you know? So it was wild. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but I was a caddy, right? And I caddied for Ray Allen.
Oh,
I was wearing some golf shoes that I did, right? And during the round, you know, as a caddy, you can't really, like, you can kind of be cool, but you don't want to bother them, right? You don't want to bother, especially Ray Allen. And I told him, I was like, look, Ray, I do this on the side. I'd love for you to see my work. At the time, I may have had, like, I don't know, 10 posts, right? And it was all pretty much some of my golf shoes. And again, that's why I brought him up earlier. He's the one who trusted me. He was like, listen, go to town. I'm going to send you some Jordan golf shoes, which I was blown away about because there were no Jordan golf shoes. The only ones that had Jordan golf shoes were Jordan athletes, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that was it, man.
Were those the 11s, the Rainbow 11s that you did? Was the first
no, those 11, those Rainbow 11s were after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones are sweet.
Only Ray can pull that look off, by the way.
Yeah, I was going through some of his like looks and everything because I think you've done a bunch of shoes for him, and so there's like green and orange 6s maybe or something. And then him wearing green and orange, which is just he goes over all over the top. But what's the biggest challenge that you're facing now as a designer within the shoe space and kind of like doing the work? Like, obviously you're stacked up, like you have a ton of inquiries and you're busy as hell. So what is like the thing that day to day is like really hard to like is getting frustrating? Is it the material that you're working with? Is it the intricacy of the designs? Like, I find it fascinating as a designer to be like how do I speed up my workflow to make it more efficient? Not to like maybe do more, but just to make it more efficient and everything. And so, just trying to figure out what's the struggles in this kind of space nowadays? Is it getting the shoes? Is it availability or other stuff?
The availability part. I mean, if you can't get the shoe at retail, there's always StockX. So, I mean, usually the client provides the shoe, right?
Okay.
I just do the artwork, but I would say the most challenging or frustrating part about it is not being able to do everyone's shoe, right? Every request I get, it's tough because, you know, I do a lot of celebrities and it's what you see on Instagram, but I also do a ton of work for private clients. So, you know, when I get a message like, you know, I'm not a celebrity, you know, why don't you respond to my comments or DMs or stuff like that? You know, that's hard, man. That's hard.
I've been bothering Roly.
That's funny. We get that too with the Swoosh Life account. You know, all these famous people trying to get in on our podcast.
Why haven't we done our giveaway yet? All that stuff. You know?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do the okay. Gumby's in charge of the print. The head cover's coming. I'm on the road.
No, I'm just saying what we see in our Instagram DMs. You know.
Oh yeah.
So, no, Matt. If anyone doesn't know, Matt's at Big Cedar Lodge out in Branson right now, I think. So when you playing tomorrow?
I play Paynes Valley tomorrow, so second go.
Hell yeah, very nice.
Second time?
Second time. You been?
Never. How is it?
It's a trek to get out here, but especially like if you're into this was all started by Johnny Miller. Why am I just second guessing myself? Owner of Bass Pro Shop. Pro Shop. So big like nature. Like if you're into nature, hunting, fishing, like man, like every hole's like carved into a section of a mountain. It's all downhill.
Wow.
You could see
Johnny Morris.
Yeah, Johnny Morris. See, it is Johnny Morris. I'm so sorry. Like, oh my gosh, that's it. I'm never getting invited back.
You get kicked out now.
I lost the plug. The plug. See ya. But yeah, no, dude, it's awesome. It is a trek. Like people sleep on Branson a little bit. Like, you know, it's sanitized Vegas without the casinos, but you know, there's a lot of shows and family stuff out here. Bobby Vinton's huge over here. It's Polish Prince, so I've got a relationship there, but. You guys don't know Blue Velvet? Anyways, we have gotten sidetracked. Roly, the thing, Keith and I were both wondering, how long does it take you? I know it probably depends on like the shoe, the type of shoe and like all the intricacies. How long does it take on average for you to do a shoe?
You can do low end, high end kind of thing too.
I mean, low 2 hours, high 10 to 12.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
It really depends on the intricacy of the design.
Yeah, a lot of times, are you pulling apart the overlays so you can get the paint completely on, and then you got to re-sew it?
Yeah, the easiest way I can explain it is if you took your car to get repainted, they would strip it, they would sand it, they would prime it, and then generous coats of paint, and then obviously the finisher. But in between all that, there's a lot of masking, right? So whatever I paint, if I'm painting multiple sections, you know, I'm painting one section, then I'm taping that off, paint another section, taping that off. It's kind of like this back and forth thing where that's kind of like what takes the most time, and the prepping for the most part. Yeah, the painting is easy.
And I assume that you have multiple going on at once. Like you're probably stripping the paint on one while you're masking on another, or letting it sit and dry while you're working on another. So you probably have multiple projects going on at a time.
Yeah, there's usually anywhere between 10 and 15 different projects going on at the same time. The problem is if I only focus on one, or if I don't focus on one, that one never gets done, right? Because I'm doing everything else. But yeah, it really depends on how much work I do to each pair. Yeah,
I think that's the hardest part for me. I really want to get some Jordan 1 lows. I don't have them. There's some the croc skin ones at my local Dick's. So I'm like, I think I'm going to go pick them up in my size, which is not normally what happens. But I really want, like I said, a master's pair. And I'm like, I kind of want to try my hand at it. I don't know if this is the time to try my hand at it, but look at that. Like, look how nice those look. And so for those on YouTube, again, go follow us on YouTube. And I
got shoes all over, man. Miami Vice.
But I don't know if I could focus as much as you focus. Like there's ones that came out, I think on Instagram, people were blowing them up like the flag and everything. But like you look at them and they were like kind of janky a little bit. Like the lines are a little wavy and all that stuff. I'm like having the level of detail that you have in every single pair. Like that is what is most impressive to me as someone who does like artwork as a designer, all that stuff, to to have the level of detail and have it never dip, like never align out of place. And I'm sure you've made mistakes and had to go back through and really, but like it never wavers. That line never wavers. It's always crisp and clean. Like that to me is what like puts you into this other level. That's why I call you the king, because that's what I notice is that the detail has never ever wavered on any one pair of your shoes. And that's what like I really appreciate about what you do compared to like others that I see in the space, you know. So
yeah, there's shoe dogs, and this is the shoe god right here, man. You do some unreal stuff with these things. So the other question I wanted to ask is, well deserved, my man. In the artistic world, what are some artists that kind of influence you? So, you know, or have influenced you like coming up, like what are some artists like, you know, and whether it's music or video or, you know, static art, images, stuff like that, like who are some like people that maybe that you follow or that influence you coming up?
I mean, there's a customizer by the name of Mosh that when I first jumped on Instagram, I wasn't doing custom at all. I was doing no custom work. And I came upon his page, and you know, he's one that I looked up to, or that I look up to still today. When you say, Gumby, that, you know, you said I'm a king and all that's what I feel when I see his work. He's amazing. There's also a local graffiti artist here by the name of Abstract. Incredible. Music inspires me a lot too, man. One of my favorite groups is Outkast. But there's
second so Outkast guy on the pod. Carlos Brown, also our friend, Outkast guy. So
yeah, I mean, you know, those guys are obviously on another level. Like Kanye, you know, Kanye's was on another level. I don't know about now, but
he's on a level.
Just so awesome.
He's on a level.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so many, like there's so many artists, you know, specifically in the music world where I'm working and I'm listening to music, you know, and it's inspiring. Yeah.
Are you getting more baseball or football work nowadays? Because I noticed football cleats, baseball cleats.
Yeah, that was more in the beginning. So it wasn't always golf shoes. Like I would do a pair of golf shoes, and not too many. Like golf is cool now. Let's be honest. Like it was cool when Tiger came out, but like it's really cool now. So that's why we're getting all the colorways, you know, with the Jordans and the Nikes, and just everyone is popping up with some cool colors. But the baseball cleats, I don't do baseball cleats hardly anymore because it's so golf heavy, and it's what I like to do. It's a sport that I want to be involved with. Awesome. Yeah. Yep.
So what do you think about all these Nike shoes that are coming out with all the colorways and everything? We're seeing the Jordan 1 line just explode with colorways. There's 80,000 of them. But we're also seeing the majors come out with giant releases. And we'll rank the major release for the U.S. Open coming up here at the end. Whether what we're calling the Fresh Prince, but others have called the Watermelon.
We all know why they're not.
I'm calling the sixes the Galaxy Quest. Anyone knows that old movie with Tim Allen, Galaxy Quest? Those are exactly what they look like in there. So that's what I'm calling the sixes. But what is that like for like? And obviously we got the peaches for as always fresh pack for the Masters. So what's that like for you? Because you can't really take those and like elevate them more, can you? Or do you feel like you can? Or like, what are your thoughts on Nike kind of not doing your work, but doing more of that kind of stuff?
Well, my thoughts are when I started customizing shoes, right? That was my only purpose, is how do I make this shoe that everyone has make it look different, make it look better, you know? And there's a lot of shoes that, you know, I see Nike come out with, and other brands too, where I'm like, they just did it wrong. They missed a critical detail, right? Specifically, I'll just say this one, the Jordan 5 black metallic, right? It's got the Jumpman on the back, right? Should have been a Nike Air, like the original.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's just one example. Like I'm not knocking it because Jordan does use the Jumpman on the back, but it's just details, right? The 23 on the side, like the OG. But that's what I think mostly when I see, the new drop, like this purple shoe that came out, right? The 6, the AJ6. That shoe is it depends on how you dress and your personality on the golf course. I'm just gonna say that. I don't hate it. I don't hate it because it's different. But I am thinking my wheels start turning right away. Like, how do I make this shoe different? How do I make it look to my liking? Right? So I trust my judgment on how to make it better. And that goes for every single shoe. Like, there's very few shoes where I'm like, that's perfect.
I promise the squad. I got some
artistic side of me.
Yeah. I promise the squad. I'm gonna drop a bomb when we go to score that 6. Because...
I think who did we see in it? Was it Gentry rocking them? Like,
Gentry had rocked.
And I was like, and it looked good. It looked good on feet when he was. And then you see it more closer up person. I'm like, I can't get Galaxy Quest out of my head now.
So like I'll roll this into a question, right? Because I'll roll this into a question for the group, and eventually we'll get to the scoring of that thing. Yeah, we saw Gentry rock it, and I defended it because everybody in the group chat was kind of like, "Oh, these are," and I was like, "No, these could be cool, right?" Like, if you're wearing like all neutral, like blacks and whites and stuff, those could pop crazy. We've had purple shoes. Somebody pointed out, like, we've had the purple AM1, the purple AM90, or AJ1, sorry, and the purple AM90, but those were spikeless. These are spiked. Okay, so cool. So we're getting a purple shoe, but purple, like, if you don't match the shades of purple correctly, you can't. It's not like blue. Like, you could go out in 2 shades of blue and get away with it. You can't go out in like 3 different shades of purple. So you got to knock it straight on. You could even wear a green top with it. This is my issue with it. And this kind of goes back to Roly talking about those 5s, right? At what point do we just, like, I get it. You want to do something different, and I get it. But you are not going to re-release the 6s for another 4 or 5 years, minimum.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you got dudes like us that are waiting for the Olympics. And it's the United States Open. Exactly. You could release the Olympic red, white, and blue Olympic 6s, take the layup, and nobody would be mad at you.
Even the Carmines you could have came out with.
Right.
We've been waiting. Everybody's in our DMs. Oh, these 6s are sitting. Well, yeah, because everybody's waiting for Oreos. That's what I go Buffalo Ridge in today. Look at these Oreos. Yep. Look at this.
I can notice those calves anywhere.
I voted for that one, Matt. I voted for that one.
I appreciate that. But that's what I guess that's the thing is, like, yeah, I appreciate when they put some thought into it, and City of Stars, Galaxy, I get it. But shit, man, give us the layup every once in a while. Ain't nobody going to be mad.
That's what frustrates me the most, actually. It's not going with, the theme. And let me just say this. Like, it doesn't, like, for the Masters, it doesn't always have to be green and yellow, right? What they did with the peaches was out of this world. I'm going to say it's the shoe of it's the golf shoe of the year for Nike. And even the AJ.
You ain't wrong.
Yeah, the AJ6. It's the same. The peaches, I think they knocked it out of the park. But yeah, I agree with you, man. They should have maybe done the Olympics.
That was my question. I think it was going to be: would you guys take that the Masters special always be green and yellow, or themed, should say? The U.S. Opens always be United States red, white, and blue theme, and then PGA could be your crazy one because that kind of is like anything. And then same thing, like a little bit more traditional maybe, or yellow and blue, or like I like kind of what they're doing with Royal Liverpool and like the Beatles kind of theme for the British. Would you take that every year, no questions asked? Or do you like that they kind of match more of like LA graffiti style kind of thing? Like, and just they're trying to play with the location more. Like last year, US Open, we got lobsters. Like, but that was Massachusetts.
But it made sense. It made sense.
And it made
the
sense.
execution was amazing.
But like, the lobsters were also had red and blue in them.
But that's what I'm saying. Was it location because it was Massachusetts, or was it US Open? You know what I'm saying? Like, so which one would you take more? Like the theme of the location for the other 3, not Augusta, or like you always red, white, and blue, always kind of green and whatnot, for the other ones?
I mean, whatever makes sense, like execution is everything, right? You don't always want red, white, and blue for the US Open, but I don't think people would mind it if they executed it the right way, right?
Yeah.
I think you're due. I think we're due to have a red, white, and blue one for an AJ6 though.
Oof.
And then they could just next year. Well, you said, Matt, you probably won't see an AJ6 again for a while, So why not kill it with the red, white, and blue now?
Even to the point, like, just release the Air Max 1s in the Navy, like, for the US Open, also, like, around that time.
Yeah, and
because those,
Yeah, I think we are getting one. There's been one leaked, right? That's like obsidian white.
Yeah, obsidian. It's the blue navy with then the red bottoms and stuff. Like,
on
those
the
are the ones that I want.
On the
AM1. On the AM1.
On the AJ1. The AM1. Sorry.
Like, and that's the other thing. AM1 is different because AM1's different because like we have this steady release of regular stuff. Like we got the red, we got the panda, we got the all black. Now we're gonna get an obsidian white red. Yeah, navy white red. And I get it. Look, I also get what you're saying because I mean, dude, take a look at when they redesigned the soccer jerseys or the Olympic Dream Team jerseys. Like, you could only move around red, white, and blue so many ways. I get it, but with U.S. Open and Masters, I kind of cool when they lock in either on those themes or peach or magnolia or azalea. But yeah, sometimes the PGA Championship, it doesn't have a lot of juice. You gotta mix in the play. So I get what you're saying.
I think that's why I was disappointed about the PGA this year, because like I live close to Rochester. There's not a lot of juice in Rochester. Do something nuts. And it's probably my most let down like major release this year because there wasn't many details in it. Like we got something better for the Players Championship than we did for the PGA, you know. So,
and I'm gonna say one last thing, and this is gonna be sassy and a little bit of a bomb, but yeah, man, sixes this year. What are if these are sitting now because you guys haven't dropped the colorways that everybody wanted? What's gonna happen next year? Let's just say if they go into a retirement MJ model.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
Just saying. I'm just saying, if you're gonna have to stick with 1, 3, 5, 4, 11, 12, 13. Like those are the only ones that are gonna work. Like unless you drop like really good colorways with some like retirement colorway.
Maybe a low 9. A low 9.
9, but 9 was fire. The 9 was fire because of the free outsole.
Right.
Like I don't think 9s really move when they retro, do they?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You're right.
So we'll see.
I have a bomb to drop on this Roly here, and I'm going to put them on the spot, but it's not going to be a bad thing. Okay, it's just going to be a selfish thing for the Swoosh Life podcast. This is hypothetical. You're not actually doing this because we're not asking you to do this, but you have to design a shoe for us, the podcast. Now you've listened, you've watched a little bit. So what's the base, and then what's the design? You said simple, so I can kind of imagine where this is going to go. But what base and design are you picking for us as a podcast?
Like base shoe or base design?
Base shoe, yeah, base shoe, and then the design kind of thing.
Man, like I said, the AJ1 low, that would be a great shoe for you guys. Our orange, obviously, some gray, right? I don't know if elephant print works with you with the color scheme, right? But we can make it work. We can kind of we can.
You just do like the heel tab in the elephant, and then you could do. We could replace
elephant.
We can just replace the little the wings or the Jumpman with like our box. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. I mean, your logo is simple. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, bold. Obviously the SWOOSH there somewhere, on the back maybe.
That's actually what we go by now.
Classy. Yeah,
we just go by SWOOSH. We can't. So Nike says otherwise. So, all right, I appreciate that. I just wanted to know what you thought what kind of shoe we would fit into. So what's
I just looked up the state animal. Sorry, I just looked up the state animal of Oregon, and I was thinking like, oh, let's do the state animal print, but I don't think beaver print. Yeah, I don't think we can do
Beaverton. Beaver.
Sorry, go ahead, Gumby. What are you up to next?
So what's next for you? You have your own line coming out. You did some powder covers. You did the prints. You gonna work with anybody? You gonna work with MJ? You gonna work with Tiger? I said if you work with Tiger though, you have to promise us to do it in a Nike shoe and not a FootJoy.
Well, I've done some Tiger FootJoys, right? You've seen those.
No, trust me. You almost got the mute button from me. No,
yeah, I know.
So what's coming up next for you?
I mean, putter head covers. I haven't done any of those this year, but I am working with the company, to get some new head covers out.
We'll get that from you offline, so we can get it out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love if Nike and Jordan Brand reached out for some colorways, right? I think that would be great in terms of like what you were talking about with the colors and but yeah, I mean, just right now I'm really just focused on what I have in the pipeline, which is custom shoes. I work a lot with brands, so there's a lot of projects lined up actually for the end of the year.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Good to hear, man. That's really good to hear. All your stuff is so good. Like, I'm just gonna try and do my best at my own, and then I'm gonna send it to you, and you're gonna laugh, and then you're gonna be like, give me some tips, and then I'm gonna be happy. So I don't think you.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you, Gumby.
What a guy.
I got
you know what? Now that we've been talking colorways and customization, maybe it's time. Let's score about these 6s in this AM1. Gumby, if you could bring up the website, they do have both shoes posted. We are gonna a lot of discussion. I still think it's Fresh Prince because it's right on the logo. I don't think it's watermelon, but obviously they probably don't want to push Fresh Prince because it's trademarked. But also Will Smith not having a good run right now. So, hey, we wish him well and all that stuff. I've just been a sassy pants this episode. But
sassy.
Here's the AM1. Yeah, we'll start with the Air Max 1 for those of you listening. The primary mudguard is that kind of it is like a watermelon green, pink toe box, pink sock liner up at the top, mostly white. A little bit of stitching, and then the insole and the sole itself has some graffiti type Nike Golf accents, as well as the back of the heel, speckles on the laces, speckles on the midsole.
Love that.
I don't want to score it just yet. I will defer to our guests to go first.
So we're going 1 to 10.
Yeah, so we go 1 to 5.
1 to
5 is perfection. Like 5, I would not change anything on it. 3 is meh, okay, no harm, no foul, and 1 is like absolute, got to start over.
Man, like I said earlier, it really depends on your personality, and I wouldn't, and the way you dress on the course too. I don't think I could pull these off. I'm not loving the speckle on the laces. The speckle on the midsole is okay. I love the that script Nike Golf on the tongue there. I think that's super cool. Even on the back.
Yeah. And it's over top the Nike Air logo too, which I
which
like
is cool.
Yeah,
I like.
And you can go decimal points. You can go 1.5. You can even go 2 decimal points, as Keith does.
I
now.
think I'm gonna give it a.
I did because
You look at the soles are cool. The translucent soles.
Agreed.
Even the insoles look cool. I like that. It almost looks like it's like those airbrush artists at a carnival or something, right?
Yeah.
That script
like you get on a t-shirt.
Yeah. That's cool. I love all that, man. The only thing I'm not loving is the speckle on the laces. I mean, I think I'll give it like a 3.9.
Ooh, good
score.
Okay.
Good score.
Yeah. It's almost a 4, but not really.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I don't mind the speckle laces. I think it ties into the midsole a little bit. But man, yeah, I got State Fair vibes all over this with like the airbrush shirt.
The caricatures, you get spray painted.
Yeah, maybe Jersey Shore a little bit, and the shore stop. And it would be cool here's the thing. Here's how you tie it in. This will give me a larger score. If you come out with a shirt or something like that that has this,
why are you guys always taking my ideas?
Gotta speak up, man.
Has that printed like that on it, like you get at a state fair or a carnival.
I'm getting it.
I could do that.
T-shirt comes out.
Yeah, I could do that. So, I think. Do I get them? No, but do they fall higher than PGAs and they fall lower than Peaches? So I think it's a 4-1 for me.
Nice. I love the scripting of Nike Golf, the wording, everything like that. Spray painted. I want a T-shirt in it. I'll buy the T-shirt in it. I love how it overlays the back heel. I would love that. Just like that. Even though with the cutoff too, the cutoff of like the little word of the golf and the Nike. It's awesome.
And if it was over the Nike Golf or the Nike Air symbol too, it'd be even better, you know.
The stitching over the swoosh is cool too. We haven't seen that before in a golf shoe.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
I like that. Like that is cool. I like that a lot too. That little detail.
Yeah.
I am a fan of the laces, the speckle laces. I am a fan because I like the laces to be switched up every now and then. But I would rank it. It's not going to beat the Peaches at all or anything like that, but I'd give it a good 3.85. I'm going to go.
Wow. Controversial opinion is going to be right. We're about to drop another one here. I like the speckled laces because when you go to clean your shoes, the laces are always the one thing you cannot clean.
That's true.
That's why I like the speckled midsole because the speckled midsole.
Take them out.
Yeah.
Take the laces out, spray them, put them in the washing machine. There's mine.
Yeah, exactly. So my score 488.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is I scored Peaches. I scored Peaches 5-0. But these are right up there with the Peaches for me. Because there is California vibes to this, you know what I mean? And I really dig the California vibes to it. So yeah, I'd go with that. And then with that, we can move on to the Air Jordan 6, which just popped up on Nike.com as well. So for those of you, we've talked about it a little bit. Finally, the Eastside 6s were teased this week too as well. We finally get contrast in the uppers. Finally, we don't have an all white upper like the infrared. We don't have an all white upper like the Cheerwines. These have a brushed silver overlay, gray toe cap, fading into purple on the underneath, purple midsole, white outsole, white sock liner. I will go first and score these standing alone. And I know, like, okay, I get it. You know, City of Stars, the Galaxy, all that stuff. I'm not mad at these. I'm not. I'm okay. Like, I'm not gonna hold that they're not Olympics against them, but I'm gonna go like a 4-2.
Wow.
Maybe that's a little high. Let's go. Sorry, I'm going back to 3-6.
No. You can't do
that. High, Matt.
This is a nice touch here. This little
because you know, like black pants. Like I don't see this as a shoe you wear with shorts. This like with pants. Dark pants could really like pop off like if you want something like a simple outfit.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's got to be like a black or white outfit with rocking these shoes.
Maybe it's a 3-2. It's probably a 3-2.
You're dropping that low.
Roly, what do you think about this? This is a spray paint. This is a spray paint can.
Ooh.
Right. Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. I noticed that.
Like that's an actual. Like that's the first time that I've seen that. That's a spray paint can. That elevates it for me a little bit. That you would get that detailed on it, even down to this. Look at the little spray thing here.
Yeah.
And that, you know, and then this is where I found it here. This is like a spray paint technique where it fades, but it's still like speckled. That's just pulling the can and just blasting it out. So
is there a picture of the footbed?
Like
footbed spray painted, I think.
This one. Yeah, this
one.
I
like the bottoms. I like the bottoms. That
it's got that script.
Yeah, that script is cool.
I gotta say, like, if you go through our comments, like Trill Golf 1 out of 100, but O'Doyle goes absolute fire. Oakberry Golf Club -2. PC Skywalker below a 1. Shaking my hand. Chicken Guru, this ain't it. Like it's polarizing. Like for some people really love it, and then you either hate it or you love it.
Nice
Galaxy. The Galaxy Quest. See, they kind of match, I guess. You know, the silver and the. Great movie, by the way. Great movie.
I'll rank it quick. I'll give I don't mind it. I really don't. It's got the speckle on the sole there and everything as well. I like the scripting, how it matches the AM1 scripting, the Nike Golf lettering. I give it a 3.35. That's what I'm going to do. I love my 2 decimal points now.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. You know, I like that it's different. I love that it's different. It's just, you know, it's a no for me. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like I couldn't pull that look off. I think the execution of it is cool. Like that fade that you're pointing out there, you know, the spray spray paint can. That's cool. That's a cool little detail. The bottom,
it's actually light purple. It's not gray.
It's almost like a lilac on the front.
Yeah.
The green kind of makes it look like a Joker-ish theme, maybe, but I'm having a hard time with the colors, right? The silver, then the lilac, and then the darker pink, and then you got some green. I don't know. I would give it like a 3.1.
No, that's not horrible.
Yeah.
It's
like it's middle of the pack, you know. It's kind of like a high 2 and a low 3.
Do you look at this and think how I would? This is exactly how I would do this differently, or how I would customize
100%. The first time I saw the picture of Gentry wearing them, that's what I thought. I was like, how would I have done those differently?
I would change this sole up for sure.
I would leave the sole white.
Yeah.
I think it's just too much purple. You have enough purple, and you even have shades of purple. I would keep it white, and I think they would look better with just a white sole.
Yeah,
I think that's the only thing that I would change on it if that's what they were going with, right? They wanted that purple, silver, white theme.
Yeah,
just keep the sole white, and that way you can. I think the balance. That's what I think of mostly when I'm customizing a shoe is balance.
Yeah. No,
yep.
I agree.
And then maybe pull that Nike Golf script, right, and put it on the back over the Jumpman.
Yeah.
That's just
you said you had Jordan or do golf.
Yeah, right. Like Jordan Golf. You can just do Jordan on the left shoe, golf on the.
Because that's how it is on the sole.
That script
sole
right there.
And
but you don't see that on the sole. You know.
No.
Yeah.
So you're saying like on the back,
bottom of my shoes.
On that back tab would be cool.
This is the first time we've seen them kind of get close to collaborating with each other on this, right? Because they're both using script.
Yep.
You know,
the spray paint.
It's a very, very little bit of a collaboration there. Whereas like Cheerwine and Peaches like just did not go together at all. Do we want to score? Do we want to wait till the next episode to score the East Side Golf ones, or do you guys want to pull that one up?
I don't know if I can probably find it, but I didn't score this yet.
Sorry.
I think I was at like a 2.7, and the spray paint little can brings it up to a 2.9. So I told you it elevated it.
Good score.
That thing is really cool. That little spray paint can. So all right, let me try and
find it on Tee Ups. Shout out to Tee Up Kicks with Chris, man. You shouted us out, man. Always appreciate you. For those of you that are following, he had a post. Yeah, it's on his feed. He had a post, first look from Knowing Kicks, that got up there, and I'll describe it while you're looking at it. Translucent green outsole with the clear spikes is not to skew where I'm going, but that is very sharp. Gold accents, white overlays, black contrast at the top with green on the midsole, and some of those pickups. Gold lace locks, man. The accents, man, pretty close to an Oreo, but with green accents. And, you know, people like asked us like, oh, why we don't always score East Side stuff. It's going to sell out regardless. So like they don't need our help. And I think they crushed this. This is a 5-0 for me. This is a 5-0.
Does anyone else just get Griffey vibes with these?
1,000%.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one.
Like, is that white or is that like a cream?
I think it's a cream.
I love that, man. I love that they use cream and not white.
And even they got a little speckle here, you know.
It almost looks like it's a suede material or a nuba.
Yeah, the toe cap looks suede.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, and they did that on one of their shoes, right? Recently.
I forgot somebody had suede on a Jordan, and I think I don't know if it was Cousteau. Yeah, I think somebody was complaining that that's not necessarily the best material for a golf shoe.
That should have been a golf shoe there. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Old Navy.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I really like this. Again, not something I'll ever be able to get, but I think it does better than what Nike did. So I'll go 3-4.
I don't mind it either. I kind of like the colorway and everything. The East Side Man right on top of the tongue. I love it. If that is suede, I don't mind it either. And I love that shade of that color of that green right there. It's a good color. And all three colors do go pretty well together. I'd give it a 3.8, I think. That'd be good.
Yeah, I love the colorway. I think the execution is perfect. Like, it's probably I would say it's probably the best 6 this year.
Easily.
Just because it has so much personality. It's a high score for me. Which I'm gonna give it like a 4.4.
Nice.
Yep. I love that shade of green too.
Yeah, it's my mom's
I just
color.
like that. That's like it almost looks like it could be navy. It's probably not, but it looks like it'd be navy and teal, and I just get Griffey vibes out of it so bad. Like I would pay money to see Ken rocking these on the golf course.
Yeah.
I
agree with you, Gumby. I actually think navy would look better than the black. I think it complements it a little bit better with the green and cream.
Yeah, and they've done navy before, but with their what was it? What was the name of these ones? Like not Adobe, whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Like it was. No, they did they named this type of style. This the whole pack was named after.
It was red clay out the mud.
Red clay. Thank you.
Red clay out the mud.
So they did the blue within that. So now you just do blue and do the green. I mean, and these are the 1961 ones. I think they say them on the bottom. I think we saw so stuff like that. I think it's great overall. Matt, your ranking?
Oh, I gave it a 5.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
So
even before you said it was Griffey, now I want to give it a 5-1. I want Griffey golf shoes.
Oh, same.
Yeah. So do I.
Man, what a show this has been. Any of you guys have any other questions, any other thoughts for Roly before we wrap this up? Do we want to do a Keith's pick of RBC, or are we all just going to go with Hell on Earth,
because
Scorch Fire?
Rory doesn't ditch. Let's get it.
Anyway,
we have to do a pick. Yeah. This is my time to shine. That they're in Canada.
I did the math, by the way. I did the math. I went through almost all the episodes, but we'll take care of that next episode. I did because you guys changed the scoring twice. Yeah, because Matt's doing the scoring, and then I'm listening one episode, and then the other episode, you're like, no, these will be double, and then it's 2 if you hit, and then on the number, and I'm like, what the hell's on the number? Of course, it's on the number if you get the pick.
Matt, all you need to know is I'm in last place in my own picks.
You are.
Okay?
I will confirm.
Yeah, that's true.
I will confirm. The question is if you guys will give me a point. If you guys are going to give me a point for calling the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and if you're going to give me a point because the Vegas Golden Knights are about to take this thing.
Come on, man. On my Panthers like that?
Doug, that was brutal last night.
Yeah.
That was
they're
a rough
0-6. They're 0-6 in Stanley Cup.
Although, shout out to the Florida Panthers reporter who stiff-armed the dude, and she's from Chicago. I got to find her name. She's from Chicago. She stiff-arms the dude, and she goes, I can't wait to go back to classy Panther fans. I loved it.
As my best friend's a news reporter, and he says that dealing with that is probably the worst part of his job with all those people.
And apparently it was like an employee of the team. So she was like, I don't care if you're an employee of the team or not. Don't get in my set, dude. Good for her.
I'm working, she said. I'm working.
Samantha Rivera. Shout out to Samantha.
I'm doing my job.
Maybe she's a listener. You never know. All right, time for Keith's pick. RBC Canadian Open, overshadowed by Live News again. Last year was their first ever event during this week, and then this year merger. So sorry, Canada, you're on fire, and this I've all my thoughts and prayers with Canada. Not
and you're not going to have an NHL team win the Stanley Cup, so that's another good one.
Yeah, but. So defending champ is Rory. Battled out Tony in the last little bit. They had the hockey boards on, I think, 16 last year or something like that, which was awesome to see. So who is our pick? Does anyone have a different pick other than Rory? Because that's who I got. I think he's going to go scorched earth. Who's in the field?
Roly, what we usually do is we pick the Nike guys, and we just whoever is first gets the points or anything. So we got Tommy's in the field, Rory, Doug Gim, and we got Cameron Champ from what the list I got. So I'll just go and get mine out of the way. Since he's got the hockey flow and he's up in Canada, I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood. So, and I can't wait to see the hockey boards, and I can't wait to see the guys try to shoot a hockey puck in the net because they really can't do that.
And
what are you going to say, Gumby?
Tommy, one of the only people to skip the player meeting today because he said, I'm working on my game. So there you go. Tommy Fleetwood locked in.
Laser focus.
Yeah, I'm Rory. Hell or Scorched Rory is my favorite Rory. Along with Backwards Hat Rory is one of my he doesn't have to deal with it anymore. It's all on Jay's shoulders now. So
What'd you think? Hold on 1 second. What'd you think about the hug between Backwards Hat Rory and Koepka after the win?
Yeah, see,
the PGA. It's just
they played a practice round together during Masters, I think. So I don't know.
I went off subject a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what to think.
All right, back
you
to
could
the
also
RBC.
go off subject by saying, did anyone see Elena Finau's TikTok about call me, what's going on with everything when all the news broke? That was pretty good. So
Rolly, what did you think about you're kind of behind the scenes. So I think I got to ask you a little bit about this, right? Because it's funny, because the thing I love, the interesting thing about when I play basketball still, or when I play golf, I know there are people in my group that maybe are from different sides of the fence politically, right? But then you get people in a room and you talk like human beings, and you start to realize that there's some common truths, some commonalities, right? I think it's the same thing with Liv and PJ. If you got a bunch of people in the room, you would accept the fact that dudes got to get paid. It's more money for less work. You can't blame them. You know what I mean? But you could also recognize the trepidations that people have about where the money came from and what it started and what it means for the future of the game. Do you behind the scenes, these dudes are all cool with each other, aren't they? Or not?
Yes. Yep.
So
he
instead
he said that earlier in the show.
Yeah. So it's it's the funny thing. Do you guys laugh about it? Do they laugh about it? Because it's funny because I see people like Twitter's the most toxic place in the world. And you go on Twitter and people just cannot wait to fight each other. Right. But if you met each other in real life and you talk like human beings, that would not be the case.
It ain't happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
More times than not, it's not. You're going to talk like human beings.
Yeah. So who's your pick going to be? Are you going to go with Tommy Fleetwood, Cam Champ, or Rory McIlroy, or Doug Gim?
I got to go with Rory, man. He's defending champ, and he may want to just, come out. I mean, he's been struggling the last few weeks, but I think I'd go with Rory.
Shout out to former Nike guy. Got the pro sender out there. My guy, former coach of Tiger Woods there. Sean Foley got that little training aid on Rory, and he was awesome. I got to say, man, the stats on Scotty Scheffler, I knew he was a shaky putter this year. He wasn't rolling it like he had last year. That is crazy how good that is, tee to green. Just, speaking of a recap from last year. So,
if he would have putted who was the last guy in the playoff with him, who was leading until the last hole?
It's escaping me. But yeah, but if he had just putted like him, he wins by 5. Right?
Wasn't it McCarthy or something? Or
Denny, not Denny Hamlin, but Denny McCarthy. If Scotty puts like Denny, like literally take all the stats except for putting and just put them on Denny. He wins by 18. They did the math.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, which is
Damn.
and the stat came out too that he hadn't missed a top 20 in like the last 20 events. He had top 20 in every 20, like the last 20 events. And so if you had put money on him and it was like $100 and then you just kept betting him, like you'd make 100,000 or something like that. And then I was like, of course they jinxed him because he was like 86 after day one. And then he just barely made the cut. And I was like, probably should have put money on him after day one to make the cut. And then it probably would have been like ridiculous or top 20 or something like that. You know, it would have been ridiculous. So, sweet. So you have Matt, did we get your pick?
No, because I was buying time. I'm just gonna go Rory to keep up with you. But I like Camp Champ.
Perfect. All right,
Camp Champ
and,
has it.
Oh, I see what you do. You pick two people now.
Yeah, it's two people. That's how we get away.
No, Camp Champ's like man. Like he's been in a little bit of a slump. You know, like he played great at last year's Masters. Been in a little bit of slump. I kind of want to pick him. But you know, Finau did great there last year. He's not playing this year, right? So he's taking some time off. Maybe it is a long hitter's course, but it's hard for me to not go with Rory. Just because of it would just make too much sense. It would just make sense.
All right. We have also a big giveaway that we're going to do right now too. So if anyone has seen, Roly did an amazing print of the TW13. Matt normally has it hanging up in his background, but he's on the road. Roly has it hanging up, but we have it right here for those on YouTube. And again, if you're not watching us on YouTube, go do it and subscribe. And then, but for those listening, it is just the soul of the TW13. Well done, red background, red and black accents popping off, and just an amazing print. He was kind enough to send us two. One is going to Keith, and then one is going to you. So when we reach 1,500 followers on Instagram, we're like 200 away from that. We will pick someone. So we will post this as a thing, tag and post a couple friends, tag Nomad in it, follow Nomad as well, follow Swoosh Life Podcast, and then you'll be entered to win this awesome print that I'll be sending out. And I've kept all the packaging because I don't want it to get ruined. So from when he sent it to me. So we're super excited about that. Thank you very much, Roly, for sending that along to us. We really appreciate that. And remember, also follow Roly on his socials at NOMAD Customs on Instagram. I don't know if you're anywhere else, but mostly on Instagram. And any last words from you on anything you want to pump, anything that's coming up? Any last thoughts?
Just thank you guys, man. I love what you're doing. Really, it's been an honor to be on your podcast. I've been following you guys for a while, and just thanks for having me on the podcast, man.
Yeah,
I really
like we said, he's been bugging us to come on. It's an honor.
That is
awesome.
awesome.
Come on, we were like, we gotta find a way. So we absolutely did.
Yeah, we were trying to do themes, right? So going up to the PGA, we had PGA professionals, and then I was like, oh man, I hope we don't miss out on this chance. But thank you for sticking out with us. And Wayne, we had Jordan, People's Choice. You are the People's Choice, man. You are the People's Champ.
Thank you,
yeah,
man.
We've had a lot of requests from you for you as well from people. So
I'm glad we finally made it happen, man.
Yes, and you're welcome anytime. I think we're going to try and get like one big one on with all of our guests eventually and do a big roundtable on the state of golf and Nike at the same time because you never know how that's going to go.
Let's do it. I look forward to that.
So, lastly, from me, before I let the guys talk, remember to become a supporter of the podcast by going to this is the new link, so bear with me and find it in our bio, not anywhere else because it's so hard to find. Podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show/the Swoosh Life. That's too long, but it is now Spotify for podcasters. So we will have an ad eventually. They have paid us to do an ad, so we will do an ad eventually, and it'll be Spotify for podcasters. But until then, become a supporter. And if you can't figure that out, then maybe eventually we'll go to Patreon. But right now, that's where we're at. So, but we all appreciate it. Any final words from Keith or Matt? Nothing. Matt, hit him well tomorrow.
Roly, no, Matt's Matt, how was the round today? All right, everything was okay.
No,
Swing
not. It
feels
was
good?
not. It was. It was not good. That's why.
That's why he
There's
wanted
always
to-
tomorrow.
I knew it.
There's always tomorrow.
That's why
Yeah.
I knew you were going off because I knew there was something going on. But
That's why I
No,
channeled
Roly,
my inner Nick Spears on this whole 6 thing. Like, just give us the
God.
colors we want already.
So,
Roly, it was a pleasure having you on. Come back on anytime, please, and keep doing what you're doing.
It was our honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having me.
Awesome. So for the Swoosh Life Podcast, that's been Gumby, Roly, or Nomad, Keith, and Matt. We'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram at the Swoosh Life Podcast to stay up to date on all things swoosh. And if you have any questions, comments, or business inquiries, please email us at theswooshLifePodcast@gmail.com. And lastly, give us a follow or review and become a supporter of the podcast at anchor.fm/theswooshlife/support. Thank you all for listening. See you in the next one.
Checks over stripes, yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, that's